Because people don't know that.
Yeah, nobody knows that, yo. And what's funny is like
it's the only time I'll be a snitch.
I got a vision, man, and a lot of times the vision. What's funny is like a lot of times I'm the vision, even if I don't want to be, because I don't want to make nobody in the room feel small.
Yeah.
But a lot of times I just got really dope ass ideas, man, and that just come from like. I don't know where it come from, for real. Like, I just got dope ideas that I'm like, let's do this, man. Like, cause I've been watching so much like shit growing up. Like, movies inspire me and music inspires me, like to the point where like, I just want to create dope content, man, whatever that looks like. And if I can have a helping hand in that, man, like I'll help direct the video, whatnot. Cause, you know, I may not know how to work a camera. I may not know what aperture is and all these different things, but I got an eye, you know.
Exactly.
This might be dope, you know, so that's always been me.
So I'm gonna tell you.
All right, bet. All right, we back in again, guys. This is Change Agents. This is Caleb. This is Trav. This is my great friend and legendary producer, too. You know what I'm saying? Amazing to have you on this show, man. Appreciate you for all the work that you've been doing.
Man, thank you, bro.
You know what I'm saying?
Thank you, bro.
In Atlanta and worldwide.
Mr. Break your motherfucking speakers.
Man, the GOAT. You know what I'm saying? It's not every day we have a legend in the building.
I'm glad we finally, like, no diss to nobody else, but, like, we ain't had nobody on, Mike maybe, but we had nobody who, like, one of us. Like, a nigga like us.
Yeah, facts.
So,
bro.
You know, I'm excited about this one, man. When our producer, Marcel, was like, yo, we should get to it. He's like, yeah, we already talked to him about it. You're not breaking us nothing special.
Yo, it's great. I told him, I was like, yo, we just, like, Trav hit me, like, in the DM was like, yo, we need to get you on. And I was like, yo, why you hit me up? It's the same thing. It's different. Like, he was like, nah, it's, I was like, all right, bet, it's the same shit.
I just like proving to Marcel that, like, he be behind us. Like, you know, anybody who know Marcel know that he's, like, competitive in everything. Like, he'll compete with you on who can tie their shoe better.
It don't matter, bro.
But I think he, like, dyslexic or something. Like, he see everything backwards.
But that's why I love Marcel, man, because, like, I know that, like, his competitive nature, he gonna try to get the best out of everybody because he's competitive. It's just, like...
It sound good. Like,
you know,
I be feeling like he talk a good game.
That was my positive Marcel today. You know, that was my positive.
I ain't really with that. But welcome to the show, bro.
Man,
so,
thank you, man.
The show is Change Agents. We like talking to people, essentially, who, you know, everybody's in entertainment and content. We like talking to people who do not conform, who want to do things in a unique way so they can change just the overall outlook of it. And it's crazy because we was just talking off camera about how, like, between Spotify and Tidal, and you was like, bro, I don't care about analytics. And I feel the same way, and I just think that's new. That's like old school outlook. Why do you still look at it like that in this numbers game that we in?
Because if I make music from a data perspective, analytics, then I think I lose myself because I didn't have that coming up. That wasn't in my back of my mind when I was making beats or doing music or songwriting and stuff like that. And now I think, even when I start to think about that at the same time, when I'm now just trying to, like, you know, find a healthy balance, it still don't feel right. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I think the point for me is if I try to just make a quality record and make a good song, all that shit will come. And granted, there's machines behind songs. There's certain things you need to do. There's always marketing. There's always, you know, all these things you got to make sure that you push the record. But for me, I'll never bring analytics into the studio or into my creative stage because for me, it's like, what for? And even then, once it's out, it's like, it's not mine anymore. I can't control what people say or how they view it, and I control how we push it. But in the end, that's, you know, like, fuck, can I cuss? I'm sorry.
No, you good,
yeah. Me, I really don't, I probably would never give a shit. You know, maybe I will You know, niggas say, I don't care till you see the number one. It's like, oh shit, I got a number one hit now? All right, so how this work?
Yeah, how
you know
let
what I'm
me
saying?
work
How
that.
this work?
Right.
Nah, I don't go into it, man, because like for me, man, I don't think like I don't think like George Condo or like fucking those artists, man, those people who actually paint, going to a gallery saying, I hope this shit pop for
your dad.
2-3 million. Like, I made this shit just for the art, bro, for art of it, so.
I think the biggest trick the music business ever did was, especially now, is convincing artists that it's their job to sell music. And that sounds crazy, but it's not your job to sell music.
Yeah.
The artist's job is to make music.
Yeah.
It's up to the label, the managers, whoever else outside of that, it's their job to sell it.
Yeah.
But they've kind of created this hysteria around artists to make artists feel like you got to know your market. Like you have to know everybody else's job, but they don't have to know yours.
Which is what's funny. I think I've been talking about this shit the past month, man. We was just talking about this shit before this. Like, that's why a lot of artist development is like lost, because you got people who coming out of their damn room who made a record, put that bitch on, you know, Twitter or DSP, like Spotify, Apple, and now they like, you know, what's next? You know what I'm saying? And you got the people who fuck around and pop, like a record will go crazy, and now the A&Rs, the labels like, we gotta do shit, like they did it, they doing it for us.
Now let's let them keep doing it.
Yeah, you know what I'm
we're
saying?
gonna take the same splits.
Right.
I feel like
they
it's
give it
no
to
artist development anymore. Like, it's no like process of building an artist for this game.
So it's crazy, man. Like shit. The nigga in me wants to 100% agree with you. I do got people who I've seen that would develop an artist, and they do their shit. So like, I don't want to separate them.
Yeah.
But as a whole, 100% in my opinion.
Right.
Last night I was saying that black execs still develop artists. Like if you really think about it, if you look at Dreamville, if you look at TDE,
Love Renaissance.
like
You know
it's
what
not
I'm
even a racial component. It's like, you know, you care about your culture. Like Jewish people care about their culture. You say something crazy about Jews, they gon' ride on it. They care about the principles of their culture.
Right.
So when we have black executives over these camps, it seems that they care more to develop the artist versus just the quickest turnaround. But more often than not, businessmen run the game now. So if you take out Top and you take out Cole and Eve and you take out, you know, QC,
guys,
Coach K and P, then there probably wouldn't be any artist development left at all.
Yeah.
And Barry and Zeke, like, you know, we know the ones.
Guys. Yeah.
I think more than anything, I think a lot of the formulas, and it's
P.
funny.
I mean Key, I don't want to just say Barry and Zeke, but Key too.
Yeah. I think a lot of the formula is gone. And what's funny, I think from the level that I'm in to like, for this shit, to make this shit work, there is no formula. At least now, because you got so many avenues to get in this shit, and I think it's not enough gatekeeping for real.
And it's crazy. In the shit. It was too much gatekeeping.
You know, but I think it's a lot of gatekeeping, like locally, like, you know, like I think Atlanta's very much gatekeeping environment, but like as a whole musically, like hip hop
is no quality control. It's
none
like,
whatsoever.
I can wake up tomorrow and I can record a song, and now I'm a rapper or I'm an artist.
Yeah.
And it should be like.
And it's like, what does that mean nowadays?
Exactly. What does it mean? What does it mean to pick up a camera one day and be a director? Like, there's no quality control with this shit.
Absolutely.
And
absolutely.
Now everybody just trying to get the highest number.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you phenomenal, right? But let's say if you've never sold a beat for 10 million, one beat, and I come to you and say, bro, I love your work. I want to pay you 10 million. There's a part of you that I believe would be like, bro, let's stretch this out some. I'm not gonna take 10 million for a beat because I know I'm extorting you at that point. These, you get one song or you get one hit or you get one viral moment and everybody got a new booking fee. Everybody got a new producer fee. Everybody got a new feature fee. Like,
Price of the brick went up.
For nothing though. Like, it's a game and it drives you crazy because it's like, how do you teach? Like, I feel like the generation we in now, we're like a generation above them. How do we, I think most of this generation is kind of who they're gonna be. How do we condition the next generation to do things a certain way if all they seeing is these high numbers?
Yo, honestly, I wish I had the answers for that, man, because you talking to someone who struggles as a producer to even maneuver that business aspect. And this is someone who is covered by good management and still have to fight for certain royalty splits and publishing and producer advancements. And back to your point, man, this shit been a wicked game long before I was born, you know? So how do you teach something that's never been taught,
Right.
you know?
Yeah.
And I think for me, a lot of times, one thing I hate, like me and my manager talking about it, he's like, yeah, that's just the business how it is. What the fuck does that mean?
What does that mean?
What do
Right.
you mean
Yeah.
that's how it is?
Yeah,
Like, you mean to tell me that I just gotta accept that? Like, that's
Nah.
just what it is?
You gotta tell me something
That's
more
the
than
most
that.
bogus shit to me.
It's like with a girl be like, that's just how I am.
Nah, like
What? Either I'm not gonna deal with you or you go, I don't care how you been.
Listen.
Like, what is the solution?
Yeah.
But let's backtrack. Like, tell people how did you get started with producing?
I've been probably producing since I was a kid, man, no lie. And I say that like, it's levels to my producing, right? So I come from a musical family. My father, man, he's probably one of the best mix engineers to ever touch a board, man.
The GOAT.
Yeah, shout out Neil Pogue, man. You know,
If
my
you-
father.
Hey, look. If you don't know the name, please do your Googles. Please do your research.
Yeah.
Like, this is one of the most, like, legendary artists of all time. And I'm be the first to say it. But
I hate y'all. I'm gonna let you finish.
Mhm.
But I hate niggas like you
Why?
because like I know who your dad is. I didn't know that was your dad to today.
Yeah, so
Makari, Sleepy Brown son. Like I be around y'all all this and you never know.
nah,
Lex.
I
Like Lex granddad is the first hooper, the first black hooper ever.
that's fire.
It's crazy.
That's fire.
But he's saying that in a good way. I'm gonna clean it up. So he's saying it in a good way. He's saying
Oh, I know
that-
what he meant. I know
He's
what
saying
he-
that in the sense of like, y'all are so talented as it is. It's like, that's like an icing on the cake. Or like,
Yeah.
damn, like, you know what I'm saying? This
I
person
think,
is so
man,
dope.
like I think a lot of people, like for people who do know me, they know my character.
Yeah.
Like for me, man, I don't think it takes a lot for people to be around me and be like, yo, man, it's, you know, I'm quiet, but I'm also someone like if I'm asked to speak, I'm gonna say something that makes sense. I'm gonna say something that's real.
Right.
And I never been around like, yo, my father is this person. Like, it's just, to me, it's corny as fuck.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
if it comes up in conversation, then I'll explain it like
Right,
it is now.
right,
But if
right.
not, I'm not going around to the heavens saying this is who.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, man, like, to someone who's not this person, someone who's the biggest person, like, nobody cares for real. But if somebody would ask, then that's showing that they do want to know. So, like, a lot of times, and I think I get it from my father, man, because, like, he's the guy, like, he'll be in a room full of people who are, you know, just top of the top, millionaires, billionaires, and
Yeah.
you won't know who he is, but his work speaks for himself.
Yeah.
Like, you
As
know,
it should.
you can't take, you know, the 4 Grammys he got. Like, you can't take the fact that he's one of the few guys who started with Outkast, like from Southern Playalistic down to their last project. Like, and it's talking about not somebody who's like been just hip hop. I mean, Blink-182, Earth, Wind and Fire.
Check the credits.
Tony Braxton, you know.
Check the credits.
You know, Bobby Brown. Like, he's just,
Draw for
he goes crazy, man. He goes crazy, man. But I grew up like looking at how my father, man, being around in studios and shit, like, you know. And then for me, man, I never had the patience that he has, because mixed engineering is like a whole different ballgame.
Yeah.
I never forget, man. Years ago when we was in studio in LA, MIA was there, like working on her album, and he sat there and like fucked with one part for like 5 hours. And I was like, no, like I'm not ever doing that.
I'm good.
But back to like producing, man. I think what I used to do all the time, I used to like on my mom's CDs, man, like all the Diana Ross shit, all the old shit. I would just like sit there in front of like the boom box and be like emotional shit because the fucking melodies just felt so good. Like, you know, Denise
real
Williams,
love.
it's gonna take a miracle. And I would just loop that shit like, oh, that shit sounds so good. That was me as a child, bro.
Yeah.
I just love soul samples, man. And I think from listening to soul music, like Motown, all that shit, to even like rock, man, like all those different instruments moved me so much. I had to like figure out like, how can I make this happen? how can I do something, be involved? And so I think I made like my first beat when I was 12 years old. And that was with my cousins, man, Agent and Brian, man. We was in the studio, we had an MPC 3000, and a fucking turntable. We just loop shit up, make beats. It was trash as fuck, but it was still, my favorite shit I made at the time,
Facts.
But that was the first time I actually like made a record, and I was like, oh man, I can actually do this. I can physically that's when like all the pistols start firing, like, man, I can create. Because I think that's when I realized like creation was so cool to me, bro.
Yeah.
It was so cool to me. But from there, life happens. I started playing football heavy. That became like, took over my life. Went to Jackson State University, like played football, college, the whole thing. Every kid
Shout
got
out to
NFL
Prime.
dreams and shit.
Shout out to Prime.
Yup.
Prime, but you was there before Prime, but we
Man.
gonna shout out Prime. Anyways.
Nah, Prime the GOAT, man. But nah, man, even in college, man, when I didn't have equipment, I was like the weird football player. The homies like, yo, come on to the club. I'm like, nah, I'm finna just sit in the room and go through study these albums. Like I studied music so much, like all Rockets Records. I studied everything, man. Like I studied Jay-Z, I studied all these beats, man. I was the kid from like 12 to like 20, even to now, reading credits, man. Who A&R'd this? Who's the EP guy? Who mixed it? Like, was it Mike Bozzi? Like, who's mastered the record? All this shit.
Mike.
And I just had to know, man. And like, that's how I fell in love with like so many different producers. And then when I graduated from college, man, I got my equipment like a year later. And shit, me and my homie Ultra, man, Vel, man, he actually, he had the machine. By Native Instruments, it's a DAW, digital workstation. It's like a damn drum pad. And I was like, this shit feels like how I was when I was 12, man. I want to use this, you know what I'm saying? And he actually taught me how to like use that equipment. And from then I just took off and where I am now, man. But
so let me ask you this real quick. So you started making beats at 12. Played ball in high school. Obviously, got an offer from Jackson State, played ball there. Was there ever a moment where it was like, okay, like football is like the vehicle, but music is what I'm really passionate about? What was that moment like?
Pete, so it's crazy. I had like a real life Friday Night Lights moment, bro, for real. Like, I was training and shit for Pro Day.
Yeah.
And music was always like in the back. It was like plan A, plan B, but nothing was like set in stone.
Right.
I think like training for Pro Day, I caught a hernia. Like, had a hernia, bro. Couldn't burst, nothing. Like, all that speeding stuff, man. So that shit sat me down, and I had like teams coming to look at me and whatnot, and then I was also gonna go train for like the Canadian League and all this shit. And I called my father, bro. I heard his voice. I was like, what we gonna do? Like the real life cry, like the broke down crying. Cause I was like, man, this is like, I felt at that moment like football was it. Like, cause I think of football, you got a little period, man, like a little time to fix small window, right? And then even then, bro, like, in my mind, I think I can do it, but who's to say what not? But I think it was, I prayed to God asking like, what's it gonna be? And then like literally months later, I had the hernia.
Did you have a surgery?
Nope. He was more things were like, you can get surgery or get healing the song. And I chose the healing the song thing. So I was out for 6 months. And during that 6 months, man, I sat down with my MacBook, no equipment, and I would just every day for like 6 to 8 hours, that's like my job. I would go through like records and just study music every day.
Same shit happened to me. But I was getting ready, like I was trained, I was playing in the Chicago program, I was hooping. And I was getting ready to like, I had a good summer too. This is like the summer, I'm like 19. I played JUCO and I had to pick between work and school. I wasn't one of them athletes that got this big scholarship money. But in the program, I'm killing. Like it's people in the program, Pierre Pierce, like if people want to go back and look who we were, Pierre Pierce averaged like 38 in
That's crazy.
College, 31 or something like that in college 1 year, and then he caught a case and like couldn't go. but I had a hernia and I had to have surgery, and then that's how I went into the medical field. But
That's wild.
one thing I want to ask is like, growing up with that being your dad, is it similar like growing up as an athlete? Like Bronny James knew he was gonna play basketball. Did you feel like somewhere back in your mind you knew because of your upbringing, like you always knew I'm gonna be in music at some
I
point?
think it was in some form of fashion, but I always knew that it was going to either be music, producing,
Yeah.
because again, I think the creation part of it, the creative part of it, always that drove me, and I would sit and write so many songs, like just writing, just sharpening my pen, because I always wanted to songwrite too, and I think that comes with being a producer, because it's so many sessions that I'll be in that I'm actually penning the hooks for and writing all the stuff, like, because that's the producer in me producing the record in its entirety, you know. But I think more than anything, my father was always watching me, and he didn't know. He was just observing, you know, seeing how serious I was. And I think my mother didn't want me to go that route, kind of, but
Label of love.
Yeah.
it's on the ballgame with that, man. But more importantly, I think he was observing, but I think I was like, I'm gonna prove to him that I can do this shit. And then that's why a lot of times I didn't go to him for stuff. I had to want to take my own lane. And it was wild, man. Somebody brought up, like, why do black families feel like, people feel like they gotta do it on their own and show, like, when you got people that are not people of color that they use their parents and whatnot
they do.
They use the nepotism. They
yeah,
use all of it.
right. And I was like, damn, I didn't even look at it from that perspective. I was just trying to like show him that I'm serious, and I guess that was my form of doing it, you know.
Yeah.
So did I always know at some point? Kind of, yeah, but I didn't know what it looked like because I didn't have it mapped out until like as I got older.
It's like we focus more on our doubters than our supporters. So like people who are willing, who are already supporting us, or people who are we know is willing to support us, we don't hear their voices as loud.
Nah, that's real, man.
But the doubters, we like, we'll prove them wrong. Or even if they just don't see it.
Yeah.
We got to find like this negativity to feed off. when we really
It's
don't have
actually
to.
sad, man, because what we really can feed off is the positive.
Yep.
Like that should keep like me being here for real, man. Like with this, even with this interview podcast, like this, this is a small but still big part of like my like affirming to me, like, man, I'm out here doing something. So I'm super appreciative of like this, because at the end of the day, this is showing me that like, yo, I'm on the right path, man. Stuff like this, because shout out Coach Ball, man. He will always say, one pebble makes up a beach, man.
Yeah.
And that for me, that changed my perspective on life, man. Because like, if you keep at this shit every single day, whatever it's, you know, you write a couple lyrics down, you make a beat, you listen to a song, you know, network, whatever it is, interview, something is still, it's the same linear path to whatever your greatness is. So
You don't have to be the best at what you do. You just got to be the most consistent.
facts. I'm trying to be both.
Say that one
though.
more time.
You don't have to be the best at what you do. You just have to be the most consistent.
I'm throwing shots at some people, and you know what I'm saying. But but you know what too? Because we so focused on the negative, you don't realize how other people see you.
Yeah.
Like you saying that, and I'm like, this nigga nuts. Because
Like, yo, I'm sorry to cut you off, fam. Like, y'all calling me legendary was like, you know, and it's not even like, what's the thing they say? Like, you feel like you're not, like, the person in the room, like, what's this?
imposter syndrome.
Yeah, and it's
Yeah.
not even that, but
Yeah.
like, that's what I'm striving to be.
Yeah,
Like, I got
yeah.
so much I want to do, so many ideas, something that I got that I want to get out, that I know I can. It's like, if y'all think this is legendary, bro, imagine what I'm going to do. Cause like, I got it in me. It's just more so timing, yo.
I know exactly what he means, but when he say that, it's like, if you think what I've done so far is dope, like, just
Wait till you
imagine
see what's
the
in my
ideas
head.
in my head.
Yeah,
like,
it got to get out, because it's in there.
Like, and everything. And I use this moment just to express this, bro. Like, what you've done with, you know, shout out Grip, shout out Jid, you know, shout out a lot of the East Atlanta, well, really all of Atlanta artists that you've worked with and beyond. It's just like, bro, like, the catalog is crazy.
Yeah.
And, you know, for an Atlanta producer, bro, to make the type of like productions that you put together,
Yeah.
it don't even sound like Atlanta
Nah, it don't.
at all.
And it wasn't on it wasn't on purpose, man. But I think it helps that like my parents are from New Jersey and New York. I was born in Inglewood, LA originally, and I was raised here. So I got a lot of like a weird ass triangle of influences. My mother introduced me to Naughty by Nature and Tribe Called Quest and shit. My father introduced me to like Black Sabbath and Metallica and all that.
You got a
weird
Tribe Called Quest placement, don't you?
That was my first placement. So
Really?
my very first actual big placement was a Tribe Called Quest record. I produced on the Footprints remix with CeeLo on their first album's remix album. That was my first placement.
Do you remember how that came about?
Yeah, I was in my father's basement. And it was like, yo, Q-Tip, you know, hit me, or the camp hit me. He's like, yo, they're doing that remix album, and like, you know, they wanted me to get involved. He was like, but like my pops really gave me my shot. Like he was like, yo, I'm gonna pass, see what you do with it. And I was like, whoa, Tribe, I bet. So I basically constructed the beat like what it was, and then you know, he did his thing, and then I think he brought in somebody to play some of the keys and shit, whatnot. And then at that point, it just became bigger than what it was, man. But that my pops, man, he's one that like kind of was like, yo, I think you would be fired for this. Like, let's see what you can do.
I'm gonna take this moment to kind of segue into something that we really haven't really had a chance to talk about in a real way, and it's just about the importance of like a father in a Black household for real,
facts.
in a real way. And we all have had that experience, like growing up one way or another. I know I did, he did, and it sounded like you did too. And it's just like, you know, how pivotal has that been for you? Just having your dad around for real. Not even outside of music, just in general.
You know what's wild? We keeping it 100. Like, my mom and dad divorced when I was 12. And up until 12, I had my father, but even then, I had him, but I didn't have him. And as a child, you got your thoughts about like what's going on, where's Pop, the whole nine. But that was only because my father was just working, man. And me being older now, I get it. You know, he was my age, you know, maybe younger, really pursuing his dreams.
Trying to figure it out.
You know what I'm saying? Like I'm trying to be in every studio.
Yeah,
I'm mixing records.
yeah.
I'm doing this and that. You know what I'm saying? And I think I learned to appreciate, you know,
What he
the
sacrificed.
moments.
Yeah.
The moments that he was there. You know, so, and it's funny, man. I feel like even as myself, it's hard to say. It's hard to like use the word sacrifices, right? Because
Yeah.
that's why I think of my mother.
Got you, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But that don't take nothing away from my father, you know, for what he did, you know, what he provided. You know
But
what I'm
I
saying?
also say like, a man's dreams is the only dreams that's for everybody. Like, when a man chases his dreams, everybody else live off the dream more than he do. Everybody else eats off the dream more than he do. Everybody else, like Jay-Z got a line that said, I'll never enjoy my success, but my family will. Kids and women can chase their dreams, and it's no comparison or no competition. But like, when a man go chase his dreams, the bigger you make your dreams, and the more you succeed, the more people you take care of, because that's the nature of a man. As a provider, your dream provides for everybody. So I think sacrifice kind of has certain undertones to it, depending on the context.
Because without being in them rooms or spending them long hours in them studios or doing certain things, he wouldn't, you know, be in positions, you know, that he's in now.
And it's still guilt with that. I think people people don't realize that even though, you know, from the outside looking in, it look like you going to have all your fun. I'm sure your dad like had guilt of like missing your game.
100%. 100%.
But he had
and
to do that too.
sometimes it's unspoken, and sometimes we talked about it years ago, like, you know. But I think more importantly, man, I'm happy that music is what bonded us, because sometimes, like when I think about me and my father relationship, it's like, yo, like, without music, man, like, I don't know. It's hard to say it's my father. Like,
But y'all
I think
might not have met back
you know what I'm
in
saying?
the
I
space.
feel like, I feel like, you know, life will happen for you, you know what I'm saying? In a way, if like music wasn't there, it would have probably been something else, you know what I'm saying, that bonded us. But music was the biggest thing. Cause like, I think without that, man, like it brought us closer, for sure. You know, and to have that type of game and learning from him, from all the shit that he went through and had to do, it's almost a cheat code, and I can appreciate that for sure.
Nothing wrong with the cheat codes.
Nah.
Use your cheat codes.
Nah, facts.
Right.
We
You
got
got
to
to.
use our cheat codes.
And to take a step further, like you got to use your resources. Like ultimately, like whatever resource you have, you got to lean into that. You got to use it to your advantage. It's in your playing cards. You got to use your playing cards. You know what I'm saying?
100%, yo.
We be making the game so much harder. Do you remember when y'all met the first time?
We met through the homie Grip, man. I was directing a few
Shout out to-
videos for
shout out
Grip
to
at the
Kyle.
time. You know what I'm saying? And
That's my dog.
bro, like, Two was just like the machine behind like all the music that he was putting out. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it just like, just seeing that journey and just seeing where Grip has gone, where you've gone, you know what I'm saying, relationships with Eminem and this person and that person, it's just like, bro, like, it's just been a beautiful thing to watch.
It's funny, man, because
It's crazy.
it's funny, man, because almost, yo, I think me and Grip got like 2 or 3 like shelved albums, like for our sake, that we just never put out because it was either like Grip was not satisfied or I wasn't satisfied.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, man, we can't do this. And it was, not real talk, man, like I almost gave up on the whole idea of working with Grip, for real.
I remember we had conversations about that.
Yeah, and it wasn't even like, it wasn't Grip. It was just like, the music we made, it wasn't clicking.
Yeah.
And I think it's probably due to me, man. Like, I still was figuring out myself as a producer.
Yeah.
And at that time, man, I think like around that time, I was still considered a beat maker. I was just sending beats off and hoping that he'll get it. And like, that ain't gonna help nobody for real. And I had to learn, and no bullshit, man, like, I think what helped me or like change my perspective, I went to like a Machine had like a event at Patchwork Studios, man. I met so many dope ass producers, you know what I'm saying, out there. And one time this woman, I can't remember her name, saved my life. But I asked her, like, you make beats? She was like, no, I don't make beats. I was like, oh, okay. So I'm a producer. I was like, oh. And it just it clicked, you know what I'm saying? And then like she broke it down to me like on some like I'm gonna teach you something, you know what I'm saying? Now, at that point I was like, yo, that's fire. Like, and at that point it changed my like perspective. And I was like, yo, if I'm trying to be and do and exist in the same names as like Timbaland, Pharrell, Just Blaze, Dr. Dre, like all those guys, man, I can't just be, you know, a beat maker, you know?
Yeah.
So I think that's like one of the first times me and Grip actually sat down for real in the room and was like, we just gonna listen to shit, figure this shit out.
What project was it?
This was Porch. Yeah, so I think the first record that clicked was, it's funny, he'll always say Cody Sack, but it was actually No Applause. That was the first record that like, where like we sat and like he was penning and I was like, oh, shit's kind of fire. And like, I think that's the moment where he was like, I think we could do this. Okay. And I was like, I think so too. Yeah, we got it, you know?
I'm such a nigga. Guess what my favorite record on Porch is?
What?
Jail Post. I'm such a nigga, bro.
Hey, nah, yo, shout out Tate. Yo.
I love Tate, bro.
Yo,
Tate.
shit. Tate Tate is, listen, Tate is going to be special. He already is now.
He is special.
But he's going to be one of the
It's just gonna take time for the word to see it.
I don't think that, man. Like, I played his new project for a lot of like industry insiders.
Not me.
You have the project, sir. You actually have the project.
I got the project, but I want to have the sit down, go through the project with me.
Listen.
We're going to have to do that, though.
Nah, facts. I played the project for like literally a lot of industry like insiders, like big and small, and they're all like, holy shit, like, yo, this guy is nuts. And the project is like Like for me, man, like I really care. Like my favorite thing in the world is like EP and projects outside of like producing them. But like,
Right.
I wanted to make sure that like we get that feeling back where like niggas like to think like gangsta don't sound cool no more. Like to be like a gangsta album. Like, but this to me, it's in the same vein of like America's Most Wanted. You know what I'm saying? Like something like that.
But
like
that's real.
I'm not hyping you. It does sound like that.
You know what I'm saying? Like it's that feeling where like, you know, you getting the raps, you getting the slaps, you getting the concepts, you getting the sequencing.
It's just a certain grittiness that
and it's still
that
raw.
production has.
Right, and
exactly.
it's still Tate.
Yeah.
And I feel like a lot of times, man, like I think Tate was one of the first artists where a lot of time when people first hear like my production, it's like, yo, who made the beat? Over anybody raps it, but it was the first time where it's like, yo, who's that rapping?
Yeah.
And at that point, I was like, yeah, he one of them ones, man. Like a lot of times the production, I like to wrap the production around the artist. Like it's like a big hug. Like you're gonna fit in that groove, you know what I'm saying? Whatever that groove is. But Tate was just like a barrier, man. It was like, yeah, I'm punching through on his voice.
Tate is what I call, I ain't never told him this, and this gonna hype him up a little bit, but Tate is what I call a perfect rapper.
Yeah.
From my standpoint of like how I judge, not even rappers, how I judge MCs.
Yeah.
Right? Number one, the first two, you got to have one or two things unquestionably. You either got to have a signature flow or you got to have a signature voice. Mm-hmm. And he got both. He got very unique, very signature voice, cadence, flow, pockets, everything. So
100%.
And then he don't look like his voice.
Yeah.
So like the minute you hear him, you're like, what the fuck is that?
Yeah, exactly.
It's almost like G Herbo. Like you see G Herbo, and it's like, you don't sound like that.
Yeah.
And then the first thing you say, after you get like drawn in with the voice, then you're like, oh, this nigga snapping.
Yeah.
So that's the immediate first two reactions.
100%.
When you hear Tate, and I heard that I didn't know who Tate was when I heard Jail Pose.
Me neither. Mind you, we went to school together. I'm like, yo, I never met this person in my life, yo, which is crazy.
That's crazy.
I went to the entire school with him. I
told you Eastside segregated.
Even the fucking school, yo. So like, he come to the studio, bro, and like to the session. I think it was at Tree Sound, and we was in there, bro. He walked in, cool as hell. I was like, he cool, man, he dope. And he got on the song, bro. Did the verse. I was like, oh my god, like, yo, who is this guy? At that point, I was like, yo, whatever you need, yo. I was like, yo, I got you. Don't worry about nothing, yo. Just let's like create some shit, man. Because my whole concept is like, if I find something that I fall in love with, man, like I want to see if I can get him to the rafters, man. This is me personally.
And I'm finna snitch on him. He video directing now.
Oh, word. That's what's up.
Well,
yup. They was him and Tate pulled, what was that, last weekend?
So low key, yo, I've been doing that.
There's nothing wrong with that.
I've been doing that.
Yeah, but I'm snitching on you because people don't know that.
Yeah, nobody knows that, yo. And what's funny is like,
it's the only time I'm be a snitch.
I got a vision, man. And a lot of times, the vision, it was funny is like, a lot of times I'm the vision even if I don't want to be.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to make nobody in the room feel small.
Yeah.
But a lot of times I just got really dope ass ideas, man. And that just come from like, I don't know where it come from, for real. Like I just got dope ideas that I'm like, let's do this, man. Like, cause I've been watching so much like shit growing up. Like movies inspire me and music inspires me, like to the point where like, I just want to create dope content, man, whatever that looks like. And if I can have a helping hand in that, man, like I'll help direct the video, whatnot. Cause, you know, I may not know how to work a camera. I may not know what aperture is and all these different things, but I got an eye, you know.
Exactly.
This might be dope, you know, so that's always been me.
So I'm gonna tell you how I found out, right? So they pull up, this might have been last weekend, 2 weeks ago, something like that. And we already had talked about doing the interview. So like, I already was like, you know, trying to figure out like what angles what we was gonna talk about, right? So they pull up and they like, yo, we gonna shoot a video. And the funny thing is, before they got here, they had an actor pull up.
Yeah.
And he was acting like a cop. So I pull up to the studio and it's a cop just standing outside the garage.
Yeah.
And he like walking around, he got his trunk open. I'm like, what the fuck is this? So he like, oh, yeah, I'm here for whoever
Marcus.
No, he says Ken.
Yeah.
I'm
Kenny.
like, I don't know no Ken, bro. Like, I don't know what you doing over here, but yeah, stay outside.
Yeah.
So then they come in, and once everybody get here, they like, oh yeah, he the actor. I'm like, all right, somebody better get him like better direction next time.
Yeah.
So they come in and they shoot. They were supposed to shoot a garage scene, and they end up getting 4 or 5 other scenes just on the fly. And then 2 was like, yeah, we don't even need the garage, bro. Like, we got it. Like, once he got in here, his mind started working. He like, I got this shot, I got this outside. Yeah. But, you know, when you know.
Yeah, man.
When you got a vision, you got a vision.
Right.
Yeah, man.
Right.
And I've always been that way, man, because, like, a lot of times I just come from an environment, like, you may not have all the resources to, like, make some shit, but you just, that's just us, man.
Right.
That's people. We just make some out of nothing, man. We gonna make it.
We made chitlins.
You know.
You know what I'm saying? I don't condone it.
Right.
But look, just out of anything, we gonna make some. Out of scraps.
Facts though, bro.
So we got a couple minutes left. Again, bro, appreciate you for everything. Appreciate
thank you, man.
Just for this conversation, man. This is a moment in time in history, but just really wanted to talk about like you and what's coming up next. Like what's coming up for 2, and then also to segue, another question I do have is like, you know, what's an artist that is like, okay, once I work with this person, it's like, okay, yeah, like
I made it. Or
exactly, yeah. This is the dream. Like for me, like I start with me. So like for me, you know, artist that I always wanted to just collaborate with is Solange. Like I really want to lock in with her on like several videos.
That's hard.
If not doing a full album, but doing, you know, a few songs off of her next project. Like I love the direction.
Like, you know how she had the full video. No, I'm not even joking.
Say what?
Like, you know how Lemonade was a video album. Like when
for Solange though.
But I'm saying you want to do it for Solange. That would be dope. I think you would smoke that. I'm not even joking.
A seat at the table?
Yeah. A seat at the table, like that visual album. Honestly, and I might get struck down by the Beehive, but I like a seat at the table as far as like a visual album better than Lemonade.
I like a seat at the table as far as a bunch of albums as an album.
Like period. Yeah, and real talk, that takes nothing away from Lemonade. Nothing.
Right.
It's just that I say this sometimes. I felt like when Lemonade came out, it wasn't for me. It just wasn't for me.
It wasn't the time.
And I can respect the song and the artistry. Like, if I break it down, yes, I love the records, but I don't think Beyonce made that with me in mind.
Yeah.
And that's okay, because sometimes everything ain't gotta be about you.
Exactly.
When I heard Seat at the Table, I was like, oh shit, like
this means
this feels like how somebody felt when they first heard
exactly.
You know, the Stevie Wonder, like that type of shit. Like that shit. Not saying that's on that level, but like, bro, she made this shit with me in mind. Like, yo, like I love this from start to finish. It felt like I was part of that family. You know what I'm saying?
And we got that and Control in the same year. Yeah. Like them was great women like albums that weren't women albums. Yeah. Like they connected with. Like I played that as much as I played 444. Like
it's fire.
It's just great albums. But I'm gonna put y'all on the hot seat a little bit. Hold on. You ain't say which artist.
Did that answer the first song?
So basically, I was asking you like, who is an artist for you that you feel like, all right, once I work with this artist, like really lock in with them in a real way, and y'all was able to connect. Like, who would that artist be?
Yo, that's crazy, man. I don't know if I even get that like off the top of my head. I think the easy answer right now with me would be K-Dot.
Yeah.
Because I know for a fact the type of music I make, I would lace him. Like, and
bro.
I know he would, like, I just know I would lace
like,
K-Dot,
bro.
you know what I'm saying? But
exactly.
Cause I feel like that's, you know what? It's gotta be him because the more I hear his music, I'm like, yo, he ain't gonna do this for that much longer. This is actually about to, he's gonna be done in a few.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And that hurts because I'm like, I just need one.
Yeah.
I just need a half, a beat switch. You know what I'm saying? I ain't have the one, but like that's one where like, you know, you could tell, man, he cared about the craft. And there's a lot of guys who care about the craft, but like he one of the ones where like you can tell like he really like almost overthink it.
Music,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
To the T. So it's like I think that'd be one where I feel like, all right, that was an accomplishment for me.
Yeah.
And there's so many more, man.
Yeah.
Like for sure. Cause or like even like, you know, it's funny, man, even somebody said it was like Lil Wayne, man.
Yeah.
Because like little fun fact, man, my little template in my mind is like I make beats for Lil Wayne and Pusha T. And then at that point, whoever rap on the shit. That's what make that's like because Lil Wayne is such a broad palette, man. So like he can rap on really anything. So like my mind is like, how can I like make beats for like that type of setting, you know?
You would be so heartbroken because you might give one of them the beat and they diss the other one.
Yeah.
They've been beefing for so long. We was talking about that today.
Yeah, man. I know. And what's funny is like, I think I've always done that is because I don't know why Lil Wayne for real, but every time I make beats, like, man, Lil Wayne be so crazy in this shit. That's how I look at shit for sometimes. But it's like only if I'm about to EP an album, like I always have like a starter pack albums I go to before I like to get myself in mind to EP an album, and there's always Clips, Lord Willing, and Scarface the Fix. That's my two records that I always go to listen to every single time. And those two will always get me more like, all right, I'm ready now. Like I go to like on some like, you know, hyperbolic chamber type shit. Like,
I feel you.
I don't want to put nobody on blast, but X is here. X was just, you was in there too. We was just with Elliot Wilson, right? Mm-hmm. And we was talking about my top 5 rappers. And when I was talking, Scarface is in my top 5.
Like all time or just like?
Yeah, all time.
Oh, okay,
So Scarface was in my top 5, right? And I was like, and he was naming some other South rappers because like Scarface was like the unmovable piece from the South for me.
Facts.
And then he was naming all these other people who great artists. I ain't gonna call them names. I ain't gonna go deep into it. And I was like, yeah, but they don't have the Fix.
Yo, listen.
And he was like, that Fix was this. I'm like, you ain't from down here.
Nah.
Because what that means to us.
Yo, Fix is a masterpiece.
Yeah.
Start to finish.
Flawless.
Yeah. I cried listening to Heaven. Cried, yo, because
he was
dog, he was talking,
that
bro.
Last verse on Heaven?
Dog, man.
Yeah.
Ain't another man trying to get to heaven.
Right.
Bro, come on, bro.
If you listen to the Fix from start to back and don't cry, you don't need to listen to music no more.
It's just, he got that pain in his voice, man. And then like what the beats rapping over, the shit he talking about, and then like just how, like for me, yo, I don't wish no time, sorry, but like for me, like sequencing is everything.
Everything, literally.
Everything. And I feel like it's one of the records like it's sequenced perfectly from top to bottom.
It's like chapters in the book.
Man, because a sequence will make or break if a record's classic or not, in my opinion.
Yeah.
You know what? And we're going to leave on this because I'm going to go in fan mode too much. You know what one of your beats I would love to hear Scarface on?
Which one?
Is he Cassius? What starts Halo? Cassius or Randy Jackson?
Cassius. It's Cassius, yeah.
Because you know Scarface is heavy guitar.
Uh-huh.
He was smoked that.
Even like the BPM, the head nod.
Yeah,
you're right.
I know what I be talking about.
Yeah, nah.
I know what I be talking about.
That's crazy. Yo, yeah. Scarface go nuts, yo.
And I don't know if you remember this. This is around that Halo period, and I think y'all were kind of, as a squad, was going through transition of what to do next. Halo,
yeah, because it was COVID, man. Like
it was COVID.
COVID happened. Grip, you know, was on tour with Brent. Then that shit fell through because COVID and
damn.
And then y'all did Halo, and this I'm an addict for this shit. But like y'all did Halo. Halo came out on GarageBand, and I remember
on Bandcamp.
Bandcamp,
Bandcamp.
not Garage, Bandcamp. But I remember it was that period where COVID had just started extending longer than we thought it was going to extend. And I remember you either tweeted or posted on Instagram, I don't know if you remember this, something you was like, man, I don't even know if I still want to do this shit. And I hit you, and we was literally listening to Halo on repeat. I'm like, nigga, are you crazy?
You know what, man?
Please come pull up on me.
Yeah, you know, bro, I feel like that day, bro, it was probably one of the first days ever I was like, man, like, yo, fuck this music shit. It was because I normally am the guy that's pulling like my niggas off the ledge. Yeah, bro, like, bro, Grip quits 3 to 5 business days, yo. And I be like, to the point I'm like, yo, man, stop, man. Like, I was like, you were in your own body, but you don't know how amazing you are looking at you.
Yeah.
Like, you are literally a GOAT or a GOAT in the making, bro. You just gotta stay the course, man, and like weave in and out the bullshit, because it's a lot of bullshit in this industry, just period. But like, that day I was like, I feel that nigga, bro. Fuck this shit. Like, I was like, you know what I'm saying? This shit is not worth it. But I had a couple people was like, yeah, you tripping. Relax. By the way, send me shit for 21 Savage. Like, you know what I'm saying? Anyway, because you tripping. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's like,
wildin'.
You know,
and the crazy thing is that same day, and like, it's crazy because you just said you told him, you be telling him that.
Yeah, all
that
the
same
time.
day, me and Cantrell was like, bro, we gotta figure out how to get some beats from 2. That exact same day, and we already had a relationship.
Yeah,
but it still
the
was
more
like,
Cantrell drops records and I'm not on it, the more disrespected I feel. So
it's not
it's
my
not
fault.
me. It's above
It's not
me.
my fault.
It's above me.
It's on camera. It's not my fault.
Nah.
It is not my fault. But,
All right, cool.
you know, we just respect you enough to not want to come to you for just nothing.
No.
But
I'm fucking with y'all.
Hey,
Man.
dog, we love it. Appreciate you coming.
Nah, man, thank you, man.
Change agents. Kayla, you got a closing word?
No, we are. I was just gonna say real quick, you know what I'm saying? You said something powerful real quick, but I just lost it.
I be fucking you up. My bad.
All right, cool. So we got it. So stay the course. This is Change Agents. We out.